Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. Welcome to the Entrepreneur Motivation Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Bello, and today we're going to be talking about how you need to zig when others zag. And I kind of Googled the phrase, maybe it's when others zig, you should zag. But I think you get the point. Either way works. You kind of hopefully understand that you need to do the opposite of what the masses are doing. And my advice for you today is to not blindly follow the crowd. And there's that investing example where Warren Buffett talks about that quote, be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. Oftentimes people get caught up in the hype of what the news is talking about and what the market looks like it's doing, and they'll end up buying at the top and selling at the bottom. And we all know buy low, sell high. However, common sense is not always common, and many people get sucked in. They invest at the top of the market, and then when things go down, like right now, the market and stocks and all those things, everyone kind of feels the pain in a way because maybe they were a little too ambitious with their investments. I caught up with a friend the other day, and we just hadn't talked in like a month or so, and he's like, yeah, I was a little too aggressive. I put a bunch of money into this like oil stock or something. I forget he didn't tell me the company name or anything, but he was a little aggressive with some of his investments, and now everything's way down. I think he was saying his portfolio is like 60% down right now. He didn't overinvest, but maybe he put in more than he would have liked to. And obviously hindsight's 2020, but the book that I recently read that my friend Leland actually recommended, I listened to the audiobook, is like a wealth mastery book by Dr. John DeMartini. And he was talking about how most people don't have enough liquidity, like they don't have enough access to cash or cash saved up. And so they invest too aggressively. They'll put in stuff as the market's at the top. And then when things go down and they're kind of running low on cash, they're forced to withdraw those funds because they need the access to the money. And whenever you take money out at the bottom, of course, that's when you actually realize those losses. And so following the crowd and the hype results in so many people getting stuck in these traps every time the market kind of cycles up and down. So my message today is to really just go against the grain, and whatever the majority of people are doing, it is probably a safe bet to do the exact opposite. And also remember to not get caught up in the heat of the moment, because it can be very easy to buy into the hype and get into it. I think I heard someone say like, hey, when you see everyone, your neighbors, random people who don't even know what Bitcoin is, buying Bitcoin, probably a sign that you should not buy Bitcoin at that point in time. And I have a little bit of crypto. I'm definitely not a crypto bro, and I'm not very knowledgeable on how that all works and pulling it off and putting it into cold storage and all that. Like I really try to stay in my lane, and I stay focused on my skill set, sharpening the saw, moving forward. And so should you, in my opinion. That's what most of the successful people I know do. They focus on their key stuff and on growing their business, because that can produce the best ROI, more so than investing in some random things that we don't really understand or care to understand. I personally I haven't looked into crypto or NFTs or any of those things, because I'm like, I don't want to change my profile picture to some random monkey. I am going to just get better at real estate and solving problems for people, growing my business and making an impact that way. A recent connection that I made this week at a guys' night that I organized, like a real estate business guys' night. It was a really cool little mastermind thing. I think we had 10 people out there total at a brewery, and got to talk for 2 hours, get a couple of beers, get some food, some snacks, and talk about business and mindset and all those types of things. And one of the guys who I was talking to said that his team kind of has a 24-hour rule, because he'll get excited. He gets all these ideas. He sends it to his team to execute and to start on, and they'll wait 24 hours because chances are by the time the 24 hours rolls around the next day, the excitement's kind of worn off. He realizes that it's probably a distraction and not the best use of their time. And in many cases, it ends up being something that they end up not even pursuing. And this happens to all of us, right? We get excitable about something. We like to be the visionary entrepreneurs who have all these million ideas, and we could do a course on this, we could do a course on that. And what if we created, a mastermind about this? And what happens is that we overcommit, we take on too much, we buy into the hype of what everyone else is telling us we should do, and our core business will fall apart, right? We don't want to do that. We don't want to get too distracted. And we also need to make sure that we have an integrator or someone who can actually execute on the vision and also keep us on track. If you recall, or if you listen to my recent conversation with Leland Redfield, they were talking about how they've got their 7-figure business. It's 3 of them, him, his wife, and an operations manager. And they needed that third leg of the stool. They had to hire that operations manager to keep things in check because she was taking care of the things that Leland and his wife, Sarah, were not good at, right? The back end stuff, the social media stuff, the editing, I imagine, is all the things that she handles so that they can focus on doing what they do best. So coming back to that whole go against the grain idea, ultimately, I think it's very important to stay focused and clear on what your goals are. Really, like I said earlier, stay in your lane. Don't get shiny object syndrome. Stop getting distracted. There's a million things that we could do, but just because we can doesn't mean we should. And I really am strong about that point because so many people will constantly bring me ideas of things that I can do and ways that I can change my business and new opportunities I can pursue or add on the side. And I'm very good at shutting them down because a lot of times opportunities are really distractions in disguise. They're disguised as opportunities, but they're distractions from what our true goals are. And what I mean by zig when others zag is that you may have to shift strategies slightly. So the market's been changing. I think I talked about this recently with real estate and interest rates and limited inventory. It's a very tough time right now for people looking to buy houses. They don't have a whole lot to choose from. There's still competition. The buyers who were in the market, a lot of them are priced out now because the interest rates have changed the amount of house that they can afford, right? So we're having to shift strategies and conversations slightly while remaining focused on the goal of helping as many people as possible. And that's what I mean by zigging when others zag. But the thing is that you shouldn't change your core focus or goals, right? And another quote that I've shared on this podcast is to be stubborn on vision, but flexible on details. Be stubborn on the vision of where you want to go, but you can slightly change up the details of how you do it as the market shifts and as things change in the landscape of your business. So I hope this all makes sense and that you kind of understand where I'm coming from when I say to go against the grain and do the opposite of what others do. I guess whether it comes to investing or marketing or how you operate your business, be unique, but also stay focused on those goals because you don't want to go too off the deep end where you're focusing on random things that aren't going to push you closer towards those goals. And another way I like to put this is to stop opportunity hopping. So many people hop from one opportunity to another to another. They never stay with one thing long enough to actually make it successful. And if you stay focused on your main thing, if you keep the main thing, that's how you're going to learn and grow and iterate far faster than those who continue to opportunity hop and become a noob over and over again, because every time they're starting to get some competence, they move to something else and they've got to kind of start from scratch. And remember that you can slightly shift your strategy as needed to get to wherever your goals are. So that's it for today. Short and sweet episode. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you're following me on YouTube. You're on Apple Podcasts. Leave a review, please, if you have not already. And speaking of focus, I think the problem most people have is that they don't know what they're working on or where they're working towards, what exactly their goals are, what the activities are to get them there. And that's exactly why I created I use this daily, the Complete Life Tracker file. It's an Excel file. You can track your daily business goals, your personal goals, how many pages of books you read, how many times you work out every single week, all that information that you're probably like sort of half-ass tracking right now. This will track it in a centralized location. It is a file that I have created for myself and used for 2+ years probably at this point, and I created a copy for you as well, completely free. Just go to chrisbello.com/free, drop your email in there. Make sure to hit confirm. You're going to get an email just to confirm that I have the authorization to send it to you so that I don't get flagged as spam or anything like that. And then it will immediately be sent to your inbox along with a video that I made on how exactly to use it and how to get the most out of it. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I look forward to catching you in the next one. And thanks so much for your time. Remember to zig when others zag.